All right, here we go. All right, hello everybody, and welcome back in. I, of course, am the Adam from the title, Adam Failed. Let's do a quick recap of the workouts for the week. So I did get in 2 runs, one of which did in fact come right on the heels of recording the last episode. I'll throw up some stats for that right here. Soundtrack for this one was Goblins Back from the Abyss. Man, they recently played their last show as a band, and it's hard to get more OG in the metal community than Orange Goblin, so check them out. Second run that I got in was more of a hill repeats kind of scenario, so it was a little bit shorter. Again, stats right here. Didn't quite get the distance, but I got some good elevation gain, some good heart rate, so that was good. Soundtrack for that was the Bloodhound Gang's Hooray for Boobies, which I feel like, not only sings to the high school version of Adam, but also I think really is maybe the kind of lewd, ridiculous pop nihilism that we can all use right now. In addition to those 2 runs, I got in 2 strength sessions. One was a light lift in the gym, and the second was PT. So boy, do I have a PT story for you today. So I went in to speak with my therapist, and I made the mistake, we'll call it a mistake, of while talking about rehab that we were doing for the elbow, and I noticed, and I think I mentioned it on here, that we're focusing on a lot of the kind of peripheral muscles and not really on the joint itself. And she said that's actually quite intentional. The point is not for us to put stress on the joint while it's healing, but to try and strengthen the surrounding muscles so that normal everyday actions don't put stress on that joint. So I told her I do want to be training those things, but given my limited time frame, the reason I don't focus on that exclusively in the gym is I do actually need to build leg strength as well for my upcoming Appalachian Trail start. So she decided that the way to solve that was to put me through a whole bunch of compound exercises that work both the quads and glutes as well as all the upper body stuff that we're working on. So I did some kettlebell goblet squats, followed with a kettlebell press, overhead press. So that was cool. And then proceeded to hold a kettlebell at a right angle while doing lunges all the way across the building. So that hurt. And then proceeded to do kettlebell one-leg Romanian deadlift, single-leg Romanian deadlifts with a row built in at the horizontal phase. If you don't know what those are, I'll go into some details about specific workouts later. It's not relevant for the moment. But the point is, she gave me a bunch of workouts that did indeed help strengthen the areas around my elbow, but also started working on my legs. So now I'm having trouble walking downstairs comfortably, which is a great thing. Honestly, if I put in enough work, that it's a little bit uncomfortable to walk downstairs for a day or 2 afterwards, that's probably a good sign. And it means if I keep that up a couple times a week for the next few weeks, I will be more than ready for the Appalachian Trail. But it also got me thinking. So focusing specifically on the muscles that we need for the activities that we're about to engage in is something that I really need to keep in mind over the next few months. We can look at a huge variety of people that have accomplished incredible things. 2 that come to mind right off the bat are Eliud Kipchoge, who is a phenomenal athlete, and let's say Eddie Hall, another phenomenal athlete. But these 2 guys have very different bodies and very different objectives and very different training plans. And so they have different strengths and weaknesses, right? I doubt that Eddie Hall can run a marathon anywhere near as fast as Mr. Kipchoge could. And at the same time, I'm betting Eliud Kipchoge is not deadlifting what Eddie Hall can lift. So work for the objectives that you actually mean to meet, which got me to thinking about what my objectives are. And I kind of think keeping my eyes in the distance, right? Looking at that long off goal of crossing the finish line of the Spartan Beast in next June means that I'm going to have a pretty diverse array of needs, but I think I've filed it down to 4 things that are really going to help me. And I learned this from my first 2 times on that Spartan Beast course. Every activity requires core. And core doesn't just mean working on your 6-pack. Core means strengthening the deep core muscles on the front side and back side of your body, right? So yes, stomach muscles, abs, also obliques, also making sure that your lower back and mid back are strong, making sure that your upper back is strong. You know, I almost throw lats in with core because it's still part of your torso. Heck, let's throw in your pecs too. Everything that's in your torso that helps that kind of center of gravity, center of mass, it helps stabilize so many activities that are a little more distal, a little farther from your center. So I think strengthening that core is incredibly important. In addition to that, I'm going to need to work purely on leg strength. There are so many mountains that just being able to push yourself up in elevation is so vitally important. So leg strength, sheer endurance, having enough musculature that you can store the energy that you're going to need, that I'm going to need to get across that finish line. I think that's the place I failed last time. So having enough muscles that can store enough glycogen that can power me through a 6-hour day of strong output. And then lastly, grip strength. Just the ability to grab something and hold on really hard. And that's going to be one that I have to hold off on for a while. I guess I can work on my left hand grip strength, but right hand grip strength is going to be a little bit before I can genuinely commit to strengthening it without risking damage. So let's focus on those other things. General muscular hypertrophy so that I can store more glycogen. Leg strength, so those two come pretty well combined, and core strength, which actually can also help provide a lot of pounds of muscle. You're working big muscle groups, so small gains are still a lot of pounds of muscle. So those are the things that I'm going to be working on soon. Those are the things I'm kind of working on now, and if you ask my thighs at the moment, I just started working on them a couple days ago. So that's where I'm going from now. Let's see how it works out. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more content.